to establish exactly what has happened, but what is your reading, what is your understanding of this situation so far?
Look, I'll be less cautious than anyone talking about terrorism in this case, because French security services were fearing both the Euro and Bastille Day celebrations for terror attacks from Islamic State. They had intel in the past few weeks of potential attack in the south of France and also in Italy and Spain over the summer. That's one thing. The second thing that we can see is that the modus operandi of today's attack is exactly what Al-Adnani, the spokesman of Islamic State, has been calling for since September 2014. And even though it hasn't been widely reported, there were already 4 attacks of followers of Islamic State in France since September 2014, using their car as a weapon to try to kill people. So unfortunately, I'm not surprised at all, and I feared the Bastille Day celebration. But as you have reported, France is in a state of emergency. Police was everywhere, and that's why I suppose reaction was swift. That's one. Second, for your audience, they should know that there was already an attempt by an Islamic State follower of an attack in Nice targeting the Jewish community, but that wasn't successful. The perpetrator injured a policeman that was standing in front of the center, and Nice, as you mentioned as well, is really the centerpiece, especially in July and August, of the French Riviera.
Yes, absolutely, Olivier. Anybody who's been there will know just how hugely popular it is, and on a day that is meant to be of celebration like today, absolutely thronging with people. But you talk about these attempted attacks, and yet just earlier today we heard that President Hollande was not going to be extending that state of emergency, the state of emergency which was imposed after those horrific attacks in Paris in November. So there must have been a feeling that the security services in France were on top of the situation.
Yes and no, because I mean, the reason why they didn't keep the state of emergency going on forever is that security services are way overstretched. I mean, they work 24/7. There's been a major demand on them, and they're running very thin. So they have now removed 3,000 soldiers from the patrolling the streets. But the reason is more linked, unfortunately, to the fact that they don't have enough troops, and the troops are overly tired with the state of emergency that has been going on for 8 or 9 months. As far as the intel, security services, as I said prior, I've been very worried about both the Euro, but also Bastille Day, and any major holidays. Anything symbolical has always been targeted by jihadists in the past.
Yes, Olivier, we've just had, well, France has just had Euro 2016, and overall it was very well received. There were no incidents, maybe apart from initially some football fans, but that's completely different. No incidents. So why, I'm just wondering, why Bastille Day? Why something that would attract so many families and children? And it's just really difficult to understand.
Look, you have to remember that there was also during the Euro a terror attack. 2 policemen were brutally killed by an Islamic State follower during the Euro. That's number one. In his tape, the terrorist mentioned that there would be other attacks during the Euro. I think the reason we haven't seen attacks during the Euro is probably because the 2 cells that were supposed to have the Euro in their sights were decimated in the attack in Paris in November, but also in Brussels in March, because we've got intel that the Brussels people wanted to